Warning: you've stumbled upon a page few will ever encounter, and fewer still will comprehend. Let me ask you something. Are you frustrated with getting your base wiped out in Clash of Clans? Tired of waking up at 6 AM to give your builder a new job? Getting half your resources stolen from you while you sleep? Spending hours on end playing the game and getting nowhere? In just a few minutes, you're about to discover a hidden cache of information on wiping out other clans for resources and preventing them from doing the same to you. You and I both know this. Clash of Clans is a sinkhole of time. If you have no idea what you're doing, you'd be blindly wasting your time just to realize there are other players out there steamrolling you for your resources, wasting the time you spent accumulating that gold and elixir. Have you seen what some of these players are capable of? How are they capable of attacking so often, upgrading so many buildings and still manage to survive a hail of attacks in Clash of Clans? Right now, as you're reading this, you've probably realized that Clash of Clans is not your ordinary game app. You now know that the game is huge and you're not going to be able to get anywhere in any reasonable amount of time. You think that to level at a decent pace, you'll need to be in-game nearly 24 hours a day. You think that it will impede on your social life or job. You think you'll eventually get higher ranked someday. I've got news for you. Someday never comes when nothing changes. You're probably committed to thinking that you'll get higher level eventually, and you can just take your time building and slowly upgrading your clan's base, army and defenses. But the sad truth is, people who think you need to sacrifice time to get anything done in Clash of Clans are all dead wrong. Trust me, I've wasted hours saving gold just to upgrade my town hall, gotten attacked and lost half of everything I owned. I got it upgraded eventually, but costly mistakes take forever to recover from. I've been there and I know that much. What if I told you that you can spend minimal time deciding which structures to upgrade first, knowing exactly what you need to do with your gold every time, doubling, even tripling your progress in the same amount of time it would take for other players? And before you leave this page, you will be an elite clan crasher who knows how to prepare for any player looking to plunder you, when to upgrade your buildings, resource or defense buildings, who to raid, how to raid, and when to raid others. I'm about to tell you the story which changed the way I viewed Clash of Clans forever. I started playing Clash of Clans on my iPhone about a year ago when it first launched in its beta phase. Back then there were no guides and even less information out, and the game was constantly changing due to the buffs and nerfs to units, buildings and whatnot. And it was fun. Everything's new, my little base progressing along. I felt like I was making quite a bit of headway in this brand new game that was introduced to me. I could do whatever I wanted, just breeze through the tutorials, learn the mechanics of what I needed to do to get started and such. I even went as far as arranging my little base accordingly to make it look as appealing as possible. I went big too. I made sure that everything I had, resource buildings, defensive buildings and army buildings, were all within my walls. I wanted to create a town that my builders could call home, as much as a base in Clash of Clans can be called home anyway. I didn't know better at the time, so I decided to wing it. This is where I made a fatal mistake. During the tutorial itself, I wasted gems because the game mentioned that I should spend gems to shorten the process of building the elixir collector. Now that I know better, I should have actually saved those gems for when I needed to purchase a third builder's hut, which was 500 gems. I was actually just a few gems short of getting the builder's hut and I was kicking myself. That moment when you suddenly realize, if I don't spend money, I'm going to take forever, and even then probably get nowhere. Everything I'd worked on all this while, and I was stuck on something so simple as I needed a third builder's hut. That was the worst experience ever. If you've worked on something for as long as I did, and suddenly have everything stagnate, just because of a simple mistake that you've done weeks before, you probably know how I felt. Sadly, I knew that back then there wasn't much I could do about it. Like I said, there weren't any guides or a wiki about Clash of Clans back then. Not quite a fair price to pay just for being uninformed, is it? But I still absolutely love Clash of Clans and won't give up that easy. It's been a while since I've made such huge mistakes, but I assure you, I've learned a lot since then. That's what really makes Clash of Clans such a fun game. Making mistakes, paying for them, and learning from them. These are the games that really make you fall in love with them after all. But I know not everyone can take repeated blows like that. A chain reaction of mistakes like I made could very well end your career in Clash of Clans right there. This was nearly a year ago when I first started out. I've come a long way since then and have managed to drag my friends into the game as well. Just by watching and advising them, I realized that there were many people out there that may have made the exact mistake that I did and simply gave up on the game. To be honest, I don't blame them. All I know is, whenever I make a decision now, I always think about whether or not it can come back to haunt me. Just that simple memory of when I first started has made me more cautious than ever. You're probably here on this page because you're learning about the game all on your own as well, right? When starting something new, there is always two distinct methods of learning. The first would be from learning from your own mistakes. The second is to emulate someone else to avoid making the same mistakes they've made, and I'm here to show you the latter. Now, I started off playing Clash of Clans alone. That made me one of the pioneers among my friends. So I know how it is, being addicted to a game where my friends couldn't care less about it. All of them were really into other games like Candy Crush, Battlefield, or even Dota, if they bothered going to LAN cafes. For myself, I was really into strategy games and that sense of progress from building something up from nothing. So I went ahead and learned everything on my own about Clash of Clans. So let me ask you a simple question. If your car broke down, wouldn't you bring it to a mechanic? Someone who could identify the problem and rectify it. Clash of Clans Secrets is here to show you how to make your mark in Clash of Clans. This includes anything to do with surviving after your newbie shields go down, what to focus your upgrades on first and foremost, as well as what units you should be training to deal with different sorts of defenses. Ever seen some of those videos where players are attacking each other with dragons and you wish that you could do the same? What if I told you that even dragons are useless against a properly defended clan? Clash of Clans Secrets is the primer for new clan clashes. Basics of everything from building up your base to repelling people from attempting to raid you, explanations on decision making from the ground up, steps to optimizing your farming of resources, as well as how best to spend them. Learn the intricacies of raiding bases no matter how complicated they may be. Strengths and weaknesses of each of the units you're able to trade. If you're anything like me, you've probably already been shopping around for the various guides on Clash of Clans. I'm sorry to be the bringer of bad news, but I've bought them all and I'm honestly not impressed. One of the guides I checked out was only a page long, describing how to tap on my resource buildings to farm. I cannot even believe the gall of some of these guides at times. Do not fall for those scams. In Clash of Clans Secrets, the information provided is blunt and straight to the point. There is no need for your time and money being wasted reading fluff and nonsense which doesn't even give you the value you're looking for. Don't settle for the second-rate stuff when you have the best available to you right here. With Clash of Clans Secrets, you know what you're going to get is top-tier quality, capable of carrying you all the way to the top. And if that isn't enough to get you excited, this is what I've got in store for you. This is a promise from me to you. After you've downloaded and tested this amazing blueprint, if you don't see mind-blowing results in an insanely short period of time, If you just try some of the amazing tips I've provided and still don't see the results you hope for, or if for some reason you just decide not to play Clash of Clans any longer, perhaps you're just not that into the game, or maybe you've moved on to something else, rendering all this information absolutely worthless for whatever reason at all, in the next 60 days, I welcome you to give me any and all feedback. Email me and I'll give you a full refund within only 48 hours. That is my no questions asked policy for a full 60 days. That's how confident I am that you will absolutely cherish Clash of Clans secrets when you receive it.